Tatum on-ramp. I have an individual passed out behind the wheel, partially blocking the on-ramp, and key still ignition.
Still have a unit eastbound 101 Tatum.
25, I got 19 from the Mini.
25 from the Mini at 535.
Service 3, I can go from 51 to Northern for traffic control.
10 for 535.
Central, if they're available.
I am, sir. Thank you.
Mary 733, just for record, there's a heavy odor of alcoholic beverage. He's urinated all himself, and there probably is open containers in the vehicle. There is.
10 for 536.
Mary 763, 10-7, have a good morning.
You too, sir. 536.
TOC, the motor unit is fighting with the guy at Tatum.
HBTOC, 10 for 1325. Could you copy and need to step up?
4.
All units hold traffic until I get code 4 from 530, from Mary 733, 537.
Mary 733, 998, shots fired. Start fire.
Mary 7.
Let's go.
Mary 733, I called copy 998, shots fired. 538. Mary 734, copy 97, 538. Mary 734, copy release, tone 1 in custody. We do have fire to 19, sir.
Mary 7.
What we just played was the audio clip of a dispatch call that was made by the officer that was involved in the killing of Dion Johnson on May 25th, 2020. The call starts around 5:35 in the morning. And what the officer calls in is an individual who was in his vehicle, passed out, as the officer says. And the officer claims that, from his perspective, he believed that the individual was under the influence of alcohol. The officer says that he noticed that there were open containers in the vehicle. The officer doesn't say that he saw a weapon. So as you listen to that audio, he does not say he saw a weapon. Now, based on this audio recording, as it plays, there's text that corresponds to both the officer's statements and dispatch statements. And in the text, after the officer states that there's alcohol in the car, it's like a 56-second silence. How we received it, it looks like they cut off that silence, and then the next thing you hear is the officer saying, "Shots fired, shots fired, shots fired." Now, earlier today, we were able to see a video of the ADOT traffic cam. And this video was recorded when the call came in that shots were being fired off the 101 in Tatum. And this news reporter had the wherewithal to roll camera on that video. And what you see in the video is Dion Johnson on the ground, handcuffed and suffering. And while he's handcuffed and suffering, one officer is rifling through his pockets. The other officer is just watching. And as Dion tries to understand what just happened to him, one officer kicks Dion in his back, his upper back, towards his head. And instead of reaching down to be compassionate, to help Dion, this officer kicks him. Now, what you hear in the news media is that this officer claimed that there was a weapon in the car. As I said before, you don't hear the officer make that call when he's talking to dispatch. Now, we've been told that the officer, when he arrives, besides what you just heard on the dispatch radio call, when the officer arrives, he sees this vehicle in the Gore area, just parked there. And the officer comes upon this individual that's passed out. The problem that the family have is that how does a person who's asleep get shot and killed by this DPS officer? The question that the family has is, how do we not know who this officer is? The question that the family has is, why do we have to time and time again find ourselves in a situation when another unarmed black man or black woman has been killed by an individual who has volunteered to protect and serve? The family deserves answers. The nation deserves answers. And that's what we want. We want justice for Dion. We want answers. We want answers yesterday. And I want to ask that Miss Irma Johnson, Dion's mother, speak.
When I finally got a chance to look at that video today, I was devastated. I really couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe that someone that's supposed to protect and serve would treat a human being the way they treated my son when he was shot, handcuffed, thrown to the ground, obviously because he was in the car when they shot him. Then he was on the ground in the back of the vehicle, and he was trying to get up. My son was fighting for his life. He was trying to get up, and the officer kicked him back down. That's cruel. You don't see them doing animals like that. And then we looked at the footage some more, seeing the ambulance had pulled up, the fire truck had pulled up, they were right by each other. 6 minutes went by. They sat there instead of going to the aid of my son. I just don't know what. I'm devastated. This is the most horrific thing that I've seen as a mother, to have a human being treated like that. There's no answers. There's no excuses. You know, why did you do this to my son? Why come you couldn't let him administrate some kind of medical aid for him? He could have been alive to this day, but they held everybody up so he can obviously lay there on the ground and die. I don't have nothing else to say. I just want those officers to be charged, arrested, and fired for cruelty to human life, human being, my son. That I couldn't see. No, Dion is not at all confrontational to no police officers. He's not, and that's not the first time he's had to run in with the law, but he is not confrontational. And if I can get some of those officers that have had contact with him, I can prove it to you. Never once did he have any kind of confrontation with the law, as far as being aggravated or aggressive or anything like that. Never.
Thank you.
My name is Michael Lambert. They call me Brother Michael. I'm with the Phoenix Local Organizing Committee. We have been supporting this family since day one, since this incident. I'm with the Ministry of Defense. The video we've seen today has a big question mark. Big question mark, like Ms. Irma said, is why did this officer who shot Dion, why were they sitting there? Why did the officer kick him when he was on the ground? Why was there a fire truck, an ambulance less than 100 yards away? While there were 7 police SUVs that rushed to the scene, you can see the fire truck and you can see the paramedics sitting there 100 yards away. And we literally counted the minutes of how long they sat there. And they sat there for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. While this man was moving around, fighting for his life. We want answers. Jerry Williams, we want answers. Colonel Heston, we want answers. The ball is in your court, and the clock is ticking. We have additional information that will come to light shortly that tops this information. This family deserves police records of what happened. They deserve them yesterday. This happened on Memorial Day. They have not even got so much as a phone call in regards to their loved ones. This is despicable. This is just another form of how our people are treated, and then they wonder why everything is going on in the streets the way that they are. Our people are tired. We're fed up. There has to be change. And it starts with these police officers that are protecting each other. I'm going to allow the rest of the family to speak, but we are enraged and we want justice. And our promise from the LOC to this family is we will not give up on you, and we're going to fight this till we get justice. And we promise you that. Thank you.
name is Donna, and I was Dion's auntie. I am so heartbroken, more than you'll ever know. This young man, right next to my dad, I just recently lost my dad too, May 7th. Still grieving over my dad. Then the next thing you know, I get a phone call from Irma telling me that Dion's dead on Memorial Day. Okay, this is a lot to take. Dion had the biggest heart. He always put himself second to everybody. It didn't matter what time you called him. It doesn't matter if he was with his girlfriend. It didn't matter what he was doing. If I called him, he said, "Auntie, I'm coming, and I got you. Don't worry, I'm coming." And when he tell me that, I didn't have to worry about nothing, because I knew he had me. But what's going on is a terrible thing now. I mean, everybody's going through so much. We all need a change. We all need peace. We all need to get back to love. We all need to get back to compassion and caring about each other, because everybody matters. But besides all that, I'm going to jump back to Dion. He mattered, and he mattered more than you'll ever know. I could stand up here for 3 hours and tell you about my feelings and how much I loved him. But I want the officers that took my nephew's life to be man enough to come forward, because what you did was injustice. And I want justice for Dion. I need it. I need coverage. I need to know, as Irma said, why was Dion on the ground with the ambulance holding back 6 minutes when he's on the ground dying, fighting for his life, strong, full of compassion, beautiful young black man fighting for his life, for them to wait. I've never seen such terribleness that I'm seeing now in this world today, and we need justice now. And I got one more thing to say. My life will be forever ruined because of the loss of my nephew. And I'm asking all the witnesses out there, if you've seen anything, please come forward. Please. Because we need all the answers that we can get. Please do it for our family, because our family is your family. This could have easily happened to your family, to your son, to your father, to your brother. Please come forward with answers. That's all we're asking for. All we want is justice. And that's exactly what we deserve. And one more thing. My whole entire life that I've existed here on this earth, I can proudly stand here right now and say, I have only came in contact with 2 real men in my whole entire life. One was my dad, the other one was Dion Johnson, and I'm not going to stop until we get justice for my nephew, Dion Johnson. In Jesus' name, let victory be won. Amen. Thank you for listening.
Okay. So, with my brother Dion, of course, we know they're trying to paint a bad picture of him. And no, he was not perfect. but at the same time, he was not a bad guy. He was like the most kindest, lovable, just very sweet. And all I want to say is, again, we want answers. We want to know what actually took place, what led to the shooting, what led to my brother being murdered. Because traffic violation, even DUI, is not a reason to murder somebody. He pulled over for a reason. He should have got help. So all I want to do is just reach out and say, for anybody that may have seen anything, know anything, just even passing by and you didn't get to see much, we would like to know. So please contact someone and let somebody know something, because we want answers, we want justice, we want to be able to have closure to all of this. Right now we have one side of the story, and we all know there's more than one side of the story. So please, if anybody knows anything, just please, because we just want to know what happened, what led. They're saying it's a struggle. What led to the struggle? If there was a struggle, was there a struggle? We want answers. Please, that's all I like to say.
My name is Soldier, and I'm Dion's niece. And the first thing I have to say is that all of this could have been avoided with just maybe even one simple question, saying like, are you okay, or anything. Because I shouldn't have to wake up and pray, asking God if I ever get into any interaction with the police, for them not to hurt me in any way because of my skin color or whatever the case may be. And throughout all this stuff that's happening with police brutality in the world, I wouldn't think that it would be my uncle, because as everybody in the family said, he was never a negative person. He'd never, like, if he had $1 in his pocket and I needed it, no matter how bad he needed it, he would give it to me, because he always put other people first before himself. And we all, like my mom said, we all just need answers, and not just one side of the story, because this is all wrong. It literally could have been avoided with one thing. So.
Hello, my name is Dion Johnson, and I'm Dion's older brother. And first and foremost, I want to tell everybody who reached out, who chanted his name, whoever just came to show my brother love, I want to tell y'all thank you from the bottom of my heart, and my family want to tell y'all the same. But Dion, man, I swear he was a special person, and he's a very special person to me. And you know, like, when you grow up, when you have a little brother, he's supposed to be your little brother's protector. You know, comfort him, show him love through any situations that they go through. And when I got that call from my mom, and I knew I couldn't protect my brother, I broke my heart, my soul, everything. I have all my kids. They don't understand. Like, they say the police is supposed to be good or this, and when they see what happened to their uncle, I just want justice for our family, and I want justice for the families who ever been through this situation, because I'm gonna tell you, this is not a good feeling. It's not. I've been out here marching since Trayvon Martin got killed. And I never thought in my wildest dreams or anything that it happened to my family. So I please ask the officer and the other officer that was involved, please come forward with the right information, and please don't try to discredit my brother. You know my brother didn't do nothing wrong, man. He was just at the wrong spot at the wrong place at the wrong time, man. And Dion, if you can hear me, bro, I just want to tell you, man, I love you, little bro.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I want to end with this. In cases like these, one of the most objective ways to determine what happened is, in this day and age, in 2020, is a body-worn camera or a dash cam. And for some particular reason, we haven't figured that out yet. These particular motor officers for Department of Public Service, I'm sorry, Department of Public Safety, I apologize, did not have body-worn cameras, nor did they have dash cams on their motorcycles. And so we'll never know objectively what actually happened. And so all of us know that the body-worn cameras are there to protect the officer as well as the citizen. And in this case, listening to the dispatch call, there is no statement from the officer that Dion Johnson was being combative. There's not one statement. And so how do we go from silence and sleeping to death? It doesn't make any sense. And it shouldn't make any sense to anybody. And you don't have to look like me. You don't have to look like the Johnson family. You just have to be a human being in this human experience that we have. And you have to honestly ask yourselves, why? And you have to tell the powers that be, no more. No more. No more. Thank you. I don't know if you have any questions. I don't.
You mentioned this video. Is there any way you're able to see what you're describing?
Well, the video, actually the video is owned by Channel 3 and Channel 5. They have the video. There is a legal issue surrounding the video as it pertains to being released. We're filing a subpoena for the video. I understand that the Phoenix Police Department has filed a subpoena for the video. And so the Channel 3 and Channel 5 may release the video tomorrow. They may not. I think they have to go through their corporate attorney to determine whether or not and when it can be released to the public. The audio file that I provided and played is on YouTube. And so it's out there in the public sphere. And so you should be able to find it like we did. It's on YouTube. I can share that when we get off camera. It's in my pocket. One of the prevailing issues that I stated before was that it just doesn't make any sense when the officer tells the dispatch that he only sees alcohol or open bottles, but he doesn't say he sees a weapon. And so to this very day, it just doesn't make any sense that the officer had to pull his weapon and that the officer had to shoot Dion. Like, there's nothing on that radio call that makes anyone understand that Dion Johnson was doing anything to cause the officer to shoot him. It just doesn't make any sense. It's senseless. Oh, my name is Jaquise Blackwell, Jocquese, Blackwell.
So what's going to be the next step?
Well, the next step is getting these answers. There's an independent investigation being performed by the Phoenix Police Department. We understand that the Department of Public Safety is investigating this situation as well. We do have extra information that we cannot disclose at this time. We hope to reveal that information in the upcoming days, but that information doesn't help the officer.
What is the audio of the dispatch that's on YouTube? Do you know who put it on YouTube?
I have no earthly idea who put it on YouTube.
So it didn't come from you guys didn't get it yourselves, it was on somebody who put it on YouTube.
That's correct.
I want to thank you again for the opportunity to be here and ask questions and to
No problem. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Well, the audio, just to make sure I understand, the question was how many shots do you hear in the audio? Well, in the video, there's no audio. And the way the video again, the video is actually being recorded by an individual at Channel 3 recording the ADOT traffic cam that's live streams day in and day out, 24/7. You see in the video either an ADOT employee or a DPS employee at ADOT moving the camera, zooming in, zooming out. And so how Ms. Irma Johnson can tell you that you can see the EMS vehicle, you actually see the EMS vehicle within 100 yards of Dion Johnson while he's alive on the hot ground, handcuffed. And during the video, if you look at the timestamp, Dion Johnson's on the ground for over 6 minutes. And Dion Johnson's handcuffed. They've already rifled through his pockets, so there's no way possible he poses any additional threat to keep EMS away. And so those precious moments should have been used to save Dion's life. And we can't bring Dion back. This doesn't make any sense. It's a senseless death at the hands of an individual or individuals who volunteered to protect all of us. It has to stop. No, the video picks up right when Dion is on the ground, he's handcuffed, and there's an officer rifling through his pockets. Dion is between the first motorcycle and the bumper of his vehicle, and he's on the ground. And then you see Dion suffering. He's moving, he's in anguish. And then at one point he moves away from one of the motorcycles, and the officer kicks him in his back, which is just horrible. But you don't see there's no muzzle flash to see because the video picks up right when Dion is on the ground, not when he's in the vehicle. We believe, based on information that we received, that he was shot inside the vehicle.
We want to know exactly why, with all the police training that's going on right now, if he clearly did not have a weapon, why was a gun the first thing he used to put him down? Why didn't he use a taser? Why do these police have tasers and never use them? Why did our people that always get shot down? Desert Sky Mall shooter came out alive. Came out alive. This man sleep in the car. You think he's drunk. But you shoot him. If you're that scared of us, do not be police officers. Get another profession. Because we're not target practice.
Absolutely. Are there any more questions?
So to the best of your understanding, the audio is from the trooper, and when does it start? Right when he pulls over?
Okay, well, let me make sure, again, there's the audio that I played is a dispatch radio call that is between the officer and the dispatch person. And the video, there's no audio at all. In the audio, when you look at it on YouTube, there's text that go with the audio, with the words. In the text, you see the conversation between the dispatcher and the officer. And in the text, you never hear, you don't hear it, nor do you see the officer say that he's in some type of distress. It's just after a lull, the officer is saying shots fired, shots fired, shots fired. Now, we know for a fact that Dion was shot once, but you don't hear Dion being shot. You don't hear the shooting of the weapon when you're listening to the audio file that I played for you today.
Where did you acquire
I'm not able to say where I got the audio. I just know that it's in the public sphere and it's on YouTube. The audio is on YouTube. The video is not anywhere that anyone can get. I can't even get the video. I saw the video, but I don't have a copy of the video. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
No.